You're listening to the Fitish podcast, where we keep it cute, a little sweaty, and very real. Some people post gym selfies while others live the fitness lifestyle. So my guest today is none other than Maje Ayida. Did I say that well?
Perfectly. Nailed it.
All right, so welcome to Fit-ish.
Thank you.
And so for today, with you, I want to talk about what it means to be grounded, disciplined, just staying focused, uh, when your name is being talked about
Mhm.
or mentioned in rooms that you haven't even been inside. If that makes sense,
Perfect sense.
right? Okay.
Maybe I'm not the only person that understands that. But it makes sense. Yeah.
All right. So, welcome to my show.
Thank you.
And I do this with everyone. And the first thing I ask is when you hear the word fit-ish, what comes to mind?
Fit-ish.
I like the way you said it. Like you do that little,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Fit-ish. What it makes me think of is the majority,
Okay.
actually,
Okay.
of people. Because I think that really fit people or fit people are very much in the minority.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
a lot of people, big majority of people don't exercise as much as they should, of course. So a lot of people exist in the space of being fit-ish, So we are kind of like dealing with, the majority, quite frankly. So yeah, I think that's the audience. You want the fit-ish, and of course the non-fitness people to get on this lifestyle.
Okay. All right. Because like the last few uh podcast episodes I've shot, right? I would ask them and they would like, oh, fit-ish. Do you mean fetish? And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
And someone said I actually meant she said, I think you meant to say fetish. I'm like, no.
No, like hey, you're projecting at his point. You know what I mean?
So
No, but
for me, it's like style behind,
absolutely is.
around it.
I kind of hear, somebody saying, hey, you're fit. I'm like, I'm kind of fit-ish,
A little bit.
Yeah, fit-ish.
Yeah.
I can run up a flight of steps, but, I'm not doing a 5K. Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, can you share with me like what's your relationship in and out of the gym like? When you're in the gym and
My relationship with the gym. I have a, what will I call it? I have a dysfunctional relationship with the gym.
you do?
Yeah, I have a dysfunctional relationship. It's, sometimes toxic, I would say, because depending on where I am and the proximity to a gym,
Okay.
like I do a lot of walking, so I like in certain countries I go to, gym is walking distance, and I'll add that to my walk and so on.
Nigeria is really the only country that you don't really have to like drive. Most countries you can walk around. It's on a train.
I think Nigeria or Lagos specifically
Yeah.
is anti-wellness. I think they're doing everything they can to sabotage wellness.
How about the bridge?
Like, one bridge, one place to run or walk in this whole city.
That's what you're
I think there needs to be an infrastructure overhaul.
Yeah.
To create more areas for people to walk, to create cycling lanes, things like that, and actually promote an active lifestyle for people, because I think it's necessary. And that's going to come from the top, from the top down.
Yes.
So we do our part, but those kind of infrastructural changes that need to happen, and education as well, teaching people the importance of this. We are a nation that is, we're surviving, and a lot of survivors, and I commend them on that. But we're designed to thrive, and we need an environment for that. We need that around us, and people need more lifestyle choices, more options, and things. I see a great development in lifestyle, which is great. A lot more activities, a lot more things to do, but it's still all based around kind of jolloфing and rocking and clubbing and bars and concerts and stuff,
But you do agree that the gym is like the new social space. It's like the new club though, right? I mean, we're trying.
Yeah, I think so. I think there are still not enough gyms.
Yes.
I think we've got a long way to go. I love the growth. I mean, 10 years ago, what were there, like 4 gyms? you know. But now there are a lot more gyms, so kudos to organizations like iFitness and stuff that are really, you know, trying to roll out SkyFit as well. You know, you guys, man, come. When are you opening in Ikoyi?
We will be.
Don't worry, no pressure.
I know.
No pressure.
Actually,
Ikoyi,
the big conversation.
there's a whole, because I get so many clients who live in that area that are asking, where can we work out? You know, and they don't necessarily want to go to the one on Bank Road. I can't remember the name. Yeah, they don't kind of want to go to that end, you know, of Ikoyi. So there's just nothing for people. It's just the ones in residential blocks.
You know, we've had those conversations. By the way, just opening a Pilates studio.
Get out!
Yes, I am.
I am
Actually,
so
like,
coming to try that.
I know.
I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy.
No.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's funny because guys have a harder time with that Pilates machine that women do.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of guys doing it and they're like sweaty. They're like, oh my
Tell you
God.
what, I one time, a long time ago, back when I was, you know, very, very locked into fitness, okay, because the early part of my work was really just focused on fitness. And then I kind of pivoted into mental health and stuff. But I was kind of feeling myself at a certain point, you know, and so I remember talking to this yoga instructor. We're having a conversation. I'm like, you know, I want to come from one of your yoga classes. And she's like, okay, you know, yes, you can come from one of the beginner ones. I'm like, beginner class? I mean, look at me. I'm athletic. I got this. Is there an advanced class or anything like that? She's like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, you can come for one particular session we're having. It's not really advanced, but it's kind of, you know, I think you'd enjoy that. I almost died. I almost died. I had sweat coming out of places in my body I didn't know could sweat. I was shaking. And I said, okay, you know what? This is a whole newfound respect. I respect it. So Pilates, which ain't far off, I respect the strength.
Yeah.
You know, that you need real strength for that.
I remember a yoga class that I attended and like literally like 20-25 minutes to the class I walked out. Because for a fitness person, it's quite challenging.
It exposes us. It exposes you.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yes, no. I'm useless. It's like somebody who's, let's say, who's a runner. Let's say, you know, somebody that runs, I do 5Ks for breakfast, you know. Then you ask them, all right, come play football. And they go on the football field and they're gassed. You know, they're gassed. Like 3 minutes, they're done. So it's good to try different things, do different things, keep your body guessing, I think. I'm very much a fan of that.
The other day as well.
Yeah, how'd you find out?
Oh my God, I'm so addicted.
It is, right? It's pretty addictive.
So like I literally like I had to tell myself that I have to take breaks. Right. So I like maybe like 6 groups.
Right.
You know, and then it's like, who wants to play? I'm like, yes, me. And then the next thing I know, like my back hurts, my knee hurts, everything hurts because I play every day. So now I try to play at least like 4 times a week.
Good.
I love it. It's amazing.
It's great. Look, it's when you talk about things that keep you together, keep you sane, my big love was basketball, right? So I would do 3 times a week without fail religiously. Then age told me to stop. So I said, all right, you know what? I've done that for like 30 years. I'm good. I'm okay to give that up. But what I was leading to is that, have you played any racket sports before you did paddle?
Yes. I used to play. So I played tennis in college.
Right. What's up?
Years. I competed. I would play like my school would play against other schools. So and then when I was younger, I played squash. But for tennis, yeah. So holding a racket and stuff was something that I was very familiar with.
So for people, you know, who are watching this right now, listening, they say that there are sports that are associated with longevity of life.
Yes.
And at the top of the list are racket sports.
Yep.
Okay. I think partly to do with the social aspect of it, the community, and I know paddle's big on community.
Like,
yeah, make friends in there.
Like the span of like.
Thank you. So when I was playing basketball, that for me was my favorite part of the week because of the community around it. You know, hanging out with the guys, your problems are left at the door, and you're 2 hours just problem-free, locked into this activity that was so much fun. And the only thing you're locked in on is putting that ball through the hoop, enjoying the game. And we would sit there and have conversations after the games, you know, and then go home. And it was so fulfilling. So, and I see that in the paddle community, you know.
Nice.
So it's really important, I think, for people who are trying to get active to embrace things that they can actually enjoy. Find your fun, you know. And you will always keep revisiting it.
Yeah, it's so much fun that sometimes we play and then, you know, our time's up and they'll book a court and it's like 3 hours you're playing.
It's not cheap though, right?
It's not cheap either. I know that.
But I think they're going to more courts will open up.
Yeah.
People will see it. I see people. I mean, in the UK, they're literally franchising it. Little families, like I said, it's husband and wife. They in the gym that I use, it was a husband and wife. They opened up the paddle court attached to the gym. And I went and spoke to them, and I was like, this is a good little business you got going on.
Missions at Skyface. So possibly open one up in the space.
Oh yeah, because you got the space up there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine rooftop?
Yeah.
Up there, elevated. Oh, I'll join.
Yeah.
I'll
But
join.
I want to miss this question I had. So just about like being in in Nigeria and then like fitness and everything else, right? I know that you do sessions with like kids, right? So and for me, I've had to speak at my daughter's school a few times.
Sure.
And sometimes when I'm at the PT, I'm always like, stressing the importance of, fitness for the kids. Even they're into house sports sometimes, the kids don't have like running shoes and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I think that even when you said it has to start from the top, I thought about that and I was like, even for schools like this, right? Some schools don't even have like tracks where you can run properly, right?
Facts.
So what's your take on that?
I feel very strongly about this topic. One of the biggest determining factors of who I am today and how important being active and fitness is to me is because of my childhood, because of how active I was, because I went to the kind of schools that made sports mandatory. And I think it's something that has become lost here because, it's the cornerstone of civilization, athletic competition. Okay, go back to the ancient days of Greece and where the Olympics came from, Olympic competition. Competition is part of development, learning to play with other people, team sports, etc. These are all things that sharpen you and shape you as a person. So I think it's mandatory at the school level to have sports, to have inter-house sports, inter-school sports, and it needs to come back. The education system, the Ministry of Education, they need to wake up because what I was trying to do with the schools is that, okay, look, I understand it costs money to set up sports facilities, running tracks and get equipment and stuff like that, but you can't just have kids running feral during free time and stuff like that. I think that it's important to, if you can learn bodyweight exercises, bring somebody in that can lead them in workouts and things, you will see something happen there. And they're like, we don't get it. I said, you know what? I'm going to show you. And that's where the whole school tour thing that I do started, because I said, kids need to understand. And let me show you how the kids respond to this. And I had this magical moment after, I think it was our third year of doing the school tour and the kids marathon, right? Was walking through a mall. And these kids, they remember the experience. They remember when you come to your school, when you come to the school and you work out with them. They remember these experiences. And these kids came and they ran up to me. They left their parents, ran up to me, oh, you came to our school. You came to our school. I was like, oh, yeah, really? Which school? And they're like, whichever school it was. And they're like, let me show you what we can do. And they got down and started doing push-ups in the mall. Right there. I mentioned this in rooms when I speak about it because it's so impactful, and kids will encourage their parents to exercise if they get into it. Don't spend your Saturdays sticking an iPad in their faces and you just, your mission is to go to one, oh, I'm bare here, or that's it. And that's how. Look at active nations.
Stop shaking tables, I beg.
Sorry, you just look at active nations, okay? Weekends are built around activity. People are out in force being active. And it's great. You go to the stadium, you'll see a lot of people, but it's still not enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough.
We need to build it into our environment. And circling back to the infrastructure, that will encourage it, If people were doing, oh God, imagine if there were day fitness clubs. The way they do, because that's a trend now. Day clubs. Yeah, fitness events and stuff, fitness retreats, all sorts of things to just encourage. But even billboards and things. I'm tired of seeing billboards of aspirational lives that are not connected to people. Use those billboards to educate people on ways that they can eat healthy or things they can do to manage stress and so on.
It starts at a young age because, I say this all the time when I go to interviews about my lifestyle and where I started from. It was my parents.
Absolutely.
My dad played football for Total. My mom was a physical ed teacher. I also grew up with sports, all of us. And till today, we all work out. And I'm doing the same thing with my daughter. My daughter is up at 4 a.m. Before the school bus comes, she's done her workout.
Fact.
Do you understand? She's done it. And I always tell myself that I can send her away, to university and know that, this girl is going to live a healthy lifestyle.
Mhm.
That's the one that I can give to her.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of parents need to begin to, even if the school is not doing it, you can do it yourself.
Yeah, it's a projection thing because it's not a priority to them, so they don't make it a priority. And I'd really say a family that trains together. Can you imagine that? Even if you put on something and you dance for 20 minutes together, it's a thing. One of the first things my dad did was stick a tennis racket in my hand and give me lessons as a kid. He was big on
I think I started playing tennis when I was maybe 8
Yeah.
or 9. We had we would use a coach or whatever, because my dad played tennis as well, and he was very good. And it's funny because the other day I was like, I'm going to play. So I was like, instead of saying padel, I said tennis. I was like, you know what, Dad, it's called padel. Because I knew he was going to ask me what I meant. All right, put it, and I'm like, it's like tennis.
You just have to give them an example.
Yeah,
it's like tennis.
And he's like, do you have your ankle support? I'm like, what's that? He's like, oh, when you play tennis, we wear it like, underneath the socks or whatever, and it helps your ankle. He was giving me all these tips, and I was like, wow, But then just having this conversation, and he's like, send me a video. He's like, how do you get the points? I'm like, well, it's like 15 all, 0, love 15, the same way, advantage. And he was so excited. But that's because we grew up with that. And I think if parents can begin to understand the importance, even with nutrition as well. I feel like we can be here all day.
Nutrition. Only recently, actually, I've started to get really, really doing a lot of research on gut health.
Yes.
And what they call gut flora, and its importance. My God, it's 90% of our existence is down here, and it's so directly connected to our mental health. What you eat. I really explored this aspect of what you eat and how it helps you with your emotional regulation and stuff. So when I took a deep dive into gut flora, I saw the direct connection. I mean, if you are receiving antidepressants, any medication, antibiotics, so how are you taking it? You're putting it into your stomach to affect your brain because it's so directly connected. But it's 90% of our existence. We are literally just a bag of, blood and bones around our gut system and our brains. Those are the two most important things. So what you eat is everything. It is everything. And we really all need to pay so much more attention to that, because all the little things, all the little ailments and headaches and tummy aches and all these little things that we complain about and all of that, ask yourself the key questions. Are you eating right? Are you sleeping enough? Are you exercising? But what we tend to do is we live in a world or in a country of just medicating everything. Any little thing, throw pills at it. You go and see a psychiatrist, throw pills at you. And of course, here, you could just walk into a pharmacy and just collect antibiotics. And those antibiotics are destroying our gut flora.
They are.
Things that should be down to lifestyle changes, right? That we're not doing enough of. So it's fascinating.
As a fact, if in the Western world, even a doctor would tell you that if you're taking antibiotics, take it with probiotics.
Yeah.
Just that out.
Probiotics, man.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly.
I do agree. Everything starts from the inside.
It all starts from the inside. And that is down to the way we think, the way we manage stress, how we regulate our own emotions, all these things, even depression, anxieties, bipolar, ADHD, all these things are all connected to our gut flora.
I never even knew that.
Oh, it's deep.
Wow.
I started really exploring this. My sister's a doctor.
Okay.
Kind of ran it by her to say, am I on the right track here? And she's like, you're spot on.
Wow.
You are spot on. It's really something that everybody needs to investigate. And you now become just focused, because you got to think about your life in terms of longevity and the kind of quality of life you want to have as you get older. People comment about...
That's the key right there. It's not even now.
Facts.
Now it's just the physical look.
That's why I say strength training is your retirement plan. It must, because that will determine the quality of life you have. Do you want to just enjoy yourself just bending down to pick something up?
Right.
Or just getting up out of bed, which a lot of people do. you know. And people say to me, oh, you know what, at your age, you're doing really good, you look really well, and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm hyper intentional. Like, I am not borderline obsessive about it. Just about movement. Just about movement. And what I do in the mornings is very important to me. That morning routine, waking up, I call it what's it called? Sunlight before screen light, you know, where I'm not gonna allow the world and social media and all that to enter my psyche, my thought process first thing I wake up. I'll spend 30 minutes in movement, walking, jumping jacks, push-ups, squats, pick up my dumbbells, do my thing, do that workout. So I get that done out of the way because I have a target. So I set myself a target. So when you talk about discipline, okay, I know that's something that you mentioned right at the beginning, and so I made a decision in the beginning of the year that I was not going to drop below 10,000 steps every day this entire year. That was a choice that I made. That meant that wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, if I'm traveling, you'll see me on the plane. At the back of the plane, doing jumping jacks, doing this stuff. You see me in the airport walking through. Meeting, you'll see me stand up. I'm not going to do jumping jacks in the meeting, but I'll stand up at some point and start pacing a little bit while walking and talking. Anytime I got a phone call, I'm standing. Man, if we could do this podcast standing up, we would. Do you know?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But the point is that I became sort of hyper vigilant about keeping up with my movement over a consistent period of time to see what impact that has on me. And I'm glad to say I'm like 153 days in of I'm a slave to my watch. I have an Apple Watch, so I close my exercise rings, my movement rings, and my standing rings every day. I've closed them every day for 153 days straight without breaking it. You'll see me at 5 to midnight doing jumping jacks in my bedroom because I didn't quite get up the steps for the whole day. But what it's shown me and the impact it's had on me psychologically, physically, like, it's incredible. And that's just having a foundation of walking. Now you add to that, the gym and all of that, the strength training, going for the paddle, hitting the basketball court, go to the tennis court, all these little things that you build into your lifestyle. I had a question from somebody. I was on a TV show last week and they said, "Hi, but you like it, so you have time. What about us that don't have time?" I'm like, what makes you think I got time? What makes you think I don't make the time? That I don't prioritize this?
Understand the importance of it.
I take my kids on my walks, Like I say, come, we're going to do this hill walk. And they're like, no! They hate it. But when we're halfway up the hill, we're having this one-on-one time, these conversations we're having while we're walking, and just creating that time. I had to ask the gym, what's the youngest age I can bring my kid in? And they're like, oh, it's 11. I'm like, all right, son, you've got another year to wait before you can come in with me. But I'm totally he's coming to the gym with me.
There are times when I've had parents bring in like younger kids to my gym, and sometimes maybe the kid is kind of overweight. And at that point, I have to take a decision that might not have been what we have as the agreed age for the gym. And then I'll recommend like a personal trainer, manage them, safety reasons or whatever. So I would allow that,
Yeah. Our tagline for the kids marathon is "Active Kids Rock," right? Because it truly is a thing of one.
So I've been trying to do something with my daughter's school. I will, reach out to them again. Maybe
They better be this year's edition.
Yeah.
They should come to this year's edition.
Let me reach out to them because they're always calling me. They need to do something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
You come to that. I mean, last year's edition, we had over 2,000 kids. And we've now incorporated the less privileged schools as well.
Yes.
Because the first year that they came, they literally had no shoes, just like you talked about it, so we got the other schools to contribute and donate, and actually so we could provide kits for the kids from the less fortunate schools, transportation to bring them to the marathon. And it's an incredible time, but it's the tour for me, going to the individual schools,
Yes.
talking to the kids, getting them moving, seeing the impact that movement has on them, how excited they are, and how much they want to embrace that lifestyle because it's fun for them.
It's fun.
But they're locked in. You tell them, it's teaching them something. So when I say start, you start. When I say stop, you stop. Now, they may not be listening to anything else, but they'll listen to that. And when you tell them to stop, they stop. And they start to follow these things. And it teaches them something about discipline, about just listening and stuff like that. And so much more as well as you get older and you get more sporty and stuff. And
I know, like,
they team
Christian
sports.
schools are big on education, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
It's got to be complete.
Yeah, but I also feel like with like schools as well. So I always say that not every kid. I wasn't like so I was, I'm a smart girl. I was like, good in school. However, I also feel like one of my strengths was like I was strong personally. Like, I had the strength, right? So I was, I was running track, I was like the school prefect, you know, and I feel like what a lot of schools have to understand as well is your child might not be able to get a scholarship, right? You know, in terms of like with their grades to go into like a school in the UK or the US, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they can also use sports because like in the US, it's a
Oh, no, look, they're obsessed with
stats.
sports colleges in the US,
Try to tell school times here that you also have to push the kids. If child who is very fast in running or who has the strength for something, build that.
What did we call our parents back in the days? Dream killers. Yes, dream killers. They say, is this sport you want to go and do? Until they see, whoever it is, Saka, making money, and they're like, hey.
Playing tennis, when I started playing tennis as a kid, right? That was just about the same age that Serena was playing tennis with her dad. Yeah, right. So, for me, I stopped playing tennis in sophomore year because I played against a girl in UMass. I never forget this. UMass Amherst, some Chinese girl, and she took me for a run, right? And I sprained my ankle, and for like 2 weeks I couldn't walk. After that, I was like dead with like tennis, right? I'm just thinking of where I could have gone if I had continued, right? But, that being said, it was just because my parents had just raised me like that.
Yeah. No, they know Nigerian parents now. Is you are a lawyer, a doctor, that kind of thing, or is it tech now, and so on and so forth. But you imagine saying, "Oh, Dad, I want to be an influencer," something like that.
Okay.
That.
All right, so let's get into like something personal, right?
Oh Lord.
No.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So I share my questions with all my guests, and then and this is something that I think I saw a video that you had, a video of you. We were talking about like your relationship and the whole thing that happened and stuff like that. So this kind of leads into this question: how do you handle being perceived? When your name became public in personal ways.
Well, one thing I don't do is talk about relationships for sure. But what I did do was talk about the impact a certain period in my life had on me, and how difficult that was. But I learned some really, really valuable lessons. And one of them, what you're talking about, was about how people perceived me and stuff. And I felt like maybe if I was a lesser person or if I wasn't who I am mentally, that could have broken me in half completely, But it taught me something about resilience, but most importantly, taught me about the attachments to external validation and letting go of that. And I see that so many of us as young people today, so many people generally, with social media, etc., have a very unhealthy attachment to validation and external validation to the point where it's inside them.
Yeah.
And they live in, and in fact, that challenge I talked about, this crazy challenge that they're doing right now on TikTok, the Imbe challenge, which basically mocks special needs people. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. I said that that's a lack of education, but what it shows me and what it's tied to, it's validation. It's validation now outweighing reason. And that's what a lot of people are doing by any means necessary, where it questions your moral center.
Yeah, lack of empathy too.
Lack of empathy, all these things, but it's that attachment. And I was forced at that very difficult period in my life, because of all the public opinions, to let go of perception and work on my own strength, my own mental resilience, my own self esteem, and not attaching it to what people thought of me. And that was a very important step in my own life, because I found that I'm in a much healthier space mentally on a day-to-day basis, because I really truly just do not have an attachment to getting validation from people, wondering what people are thinking about me. It was something that I was, I was in the early stages of when I was, was all in the public and everything. I was kind of like, oh my God, everybody thinks this, or people think this. Everybody's, I would walk in. I remember I walked into, I think it was a KFC. I walked into the KFC and I was like, I, I was nervous. Walking in, it's one of the first days that I actually stepped out in that period, right? And I was nervous going in, because I'm just like, and at some point I just thought, no, this isn't, I can't, I'm not going to live like this. So one thing I'm not going to be is, or one thing I'm not going to do is make this my identity and make this who I am, because I see that happen for a lot of people, especially now with hindsight, looking back, and I see some people and the way they move through the world, they lead with this identity of trauma and what I went through and what I did, and this person that did this to me,
Right,
and this
right.
person, and I think it's a really unhealthy way to move through life, because you spend so much time pointing fingers, blaming all sorts of things for where you are, for who you are,
Of course.
without really understanding and unleashing your true power, which is your power to choose one thought over another, the power to choose who you are, to reinvent yourself. You wake up in the morning, you decide who you are to the world.
You said it before too.
100%. You wake up in the morning, are you going to be somebody that the world decides your mood, decides your experiences, decides how you feel, or are you the one in control? How you respond to life is that's your strength. So what you choose to do, the thoughts that you choose to have, the way that you choose to feel about your emotions and react to them. Emotions are in all of us, but what you do about your emotions, how you feel about your emotions, how you respond to them. I could be angry, furious, but how I express that anger is where my work is, and how I communicate that to you. So if I'm just spitting fire at you and insulting you and all sorts of things, I'm not in control. The power is not in me anymore. It's in whoever is getting these reactions out of me. If you're walking by, somebody throws a pebble at you, if they can send you into a spiral of anger, that person is in control of you.
Yeah.
Why would you give anybody that power?
Power.
Why would you give anything external from you
Right.
that power?
Right. I agree. Because I was having a conversation with a friend, and I said, for me personally, right, my type of person, I'm very non-confrontational, right? And it's not because I don't have what to say. It's just that, you know, I I would rather, so I protect my peace, everything around me, right? If you're in my space and I'm forced to have a conversation with you, I will do that. But I'll do that and I'll end it. It's either, we end it and you move on, or we have a conversation and we kind of get to a resolution and then we keep it moving. But the one thing that I don't like I would hate to do is to hold on to things.
Yeah. Release it.
Yeah, I
Let
really
it go.
go.
Yeah.
If it's a relationship, I cry it out, I heal, I recover, I keep it moving, and that's the one thing that's always helped me.
Well, I think also the better you are, or you can learn to be to communicate effectively, the easier it is to communicate things out and get them out. When you don't know how to release these things, it can sometimes you could even think you've released it, but it's stayed in you, and there's some kind of resentment building and stuff. And it's interesting you say about protecting your peace. One of the things that I've started to look into as well is that I think that we're fast moving away from resilience and building resilience. And we are more and more weaponizing psychology and all these psychological terms, and not facing and dealing with challenges in life. So what can be actually somebody saying, oh, I'm just protecting my peace. I'm protecting my peace. Actually, them not being able to confront and deal with things,
right.
you know, and actually end up gaslighting someone because they're saying they're protecting their peace, or somebody doesn't agree with what you're saying. Oh, you're a narcissist, and it's everybody's a narcissist, you know.
That's a term.
Everybody's
That's a term.
a narcissist.
Everyone is.
You know, and
yes.
so now everyday challenges are being met with psychology terms, you know, just normal challenges. Life is challenging, okay? But you can't say this is challenging and I have depression. I'm chronically depressed. Or I have, you weaponize depression, you weaponize anxiety. No, it's just a normal challenge in life. Do you have the resilience to get through it? Because at the other side of resilience, that's where your freedom lies. On the other side of adversity, that's where true growth is. And, I don't want to go religious. I don't want to get biblical here, but God promises us challenge. But he promises us that we have within us what it takes to get through that. And there's nothing that's going to be thrown at you that you cannot get through and learn from and grow. So whatever fire that you have to walk through, let it burn away the things that don't serve you. But do not become consumed by the fire where you become bitter. Don't be bitter, be better.
Be better. Nice. Don't be bitter, be better. I love that. So my final question, because we also have the quick fire questions, right? That one is like super quick. So I have this, and you probably love this. What's the one myth that you think people should not believe when it comes to fitness? Because there's a lot. There's a lot.
Wow, there's a lot of myths. I think in a world or in a nation of people that like quick fixes and like to cheat the system and shortcuts, I think the one thing that I hear a lot of that I wish people wouldn't say is that they want to lose weight in a particular area in their body. They want to spot reduce, right? Oh, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to do my tummy. Oh, I don't want to do it. I just want to get rid of this. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, so that would be the one myth that I would say, that you can't spot reduce at all. It's got to be, calorie deficit, all of that stuff, and you've got to be a complete. I want to get to 6-pack, but nowhere else. Come on, stop it.
So in the gym sometimes, right, I see guys with like super big tummy, and then they're doing like crunches.
I know. Just stop it. Just stop those crunches. They can't even do no, I'm not going to shame anyone. But guys, you can't just, you can't be doing crunches and not work on losing weight, okay? And another myth I'll just touch on is about strength training and women as well. They don't want to lift. I don't want to put on muscle like it's easy. I don't want to. Look, one of the best weight loss tools for you as a woman is strength training. Please lift. Promise you.
All right. So we're going to get into quick fires. These are quick questions, right? I'm just probably going to like 4 or 5 with you. All right. So the first one is gym selfies after every workout. I already know the answer, but just tell me.
Of course. Immediately.
Say no.
Why would I say no?
Oh, I thought you said take that
selfie. Your endorphins are high.
Okay.
That's when just love yourself. Okay. Embrace it. I do it.
Okay. Cool. I do it all the time.
100%. And it's not about seeing my progress. Yeah. It's pure vanity.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just saying.
I did. Okay. Skincare routine for you. Because your skin looks amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks. I do have a skincare routine. Okay. I use Bioderma. I have La Roche-Posay or whatever, something. I use face wash and stuff. Expensive. But yeah, I have a very good skincare routine recently. But also recently, after investigating this gut flora that I'm talking about and gut health and seeing how it's connected, now the stuff you're putting on your skin is affecting.
Oh, yes.
It's also impactful. Oh, yes. So I need to simplify actually now, because you are still introducing toxins through your skin. Okay, so if you're doing a detox, let's say, they'll also tell you, stop the skincare routines. Don't wear makeup, all these things, because it's all, your skin is taking these things in. All right, so it's important. So I'm going to reduce my skincare, but skincare is important though. But the best skincare, exercise, sleep, water.
Yeah, facts. All right, do you own a ring light?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Well, I do stuff at home. I record. I do Instagram lives. I do all these things. So yeah, I do a ring light, but I'm not going to, get on a ring light and start talking about hot topics. That's not my thing.
All right, do you believe in having a soulmate?
No.
I have random quick fire questions.
No, I don't.
You don't? Why?
Yeah, because I think that relationships are intentional. I think that people need to understand that relationships take work, and you have to work at it and be intentional. I think you can decide that I'm going to make this relationship work, and you make it work, and you work at it. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But soulmates, I think, is a romantic fantasy that is an excuse for not working.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Well, you've heard it. Thank you so much, Maje. I had a great time.
This is awesome.
This was great. I'm going to bring you back in my next season because I think there's a lot more questions that I do have, but time.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So make sure that you follow me on Spotify and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, guys. Thank you and have a great one. Bye. You're listening to the Fetish Podcast, where we keep it cute, a little sweaty, and very real.